Welcome back. Today we're going to be testing out a stock Glock trigger. Completely stock, unmolested, possibly one of the few left in the world. This is one of the flat dark earth guns. A friend of mine bought it new from a local gun shop. And I wanted to test this out before we started playing with the trigger on it. I've had a lot of folks try to tell me recently that a Glock 5.5 pound connector is a 5.5 pound trigger pull. So today we're going to kind of dispel that myth with a Lyman trigger pull gauge. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold the gun somewhat vertical until we get the best access possible and gently start pulling to the rear. And this broke at 5 pounds 8 ounces. As you can see, it broke on the tip of the trigger. It's pretty hard to actually get our finger all the way down to the tip of the trigger. See if we can get it to stay just about where we'd have our finger at, which we have the pad of our finger right above the center line. That broke at 5 pounds 13 ounces. Now 5 pounds 8 ounces would be a 5.5 pound. For some reason my Lyman gauge is wanting to give me an extra ounce of trigger. Okay, it stayed 0. We got 7 pounds 2 ounces. So you can see it drastically makes a difference in where you hold your finger on the trigger. Now if you really concentrate, drag your finger on the trigger guard, you can actually get it almost to the bottom of the trigger. However, most folks do not and cannot do that. We have to deactivate the trigger safety. And pull straight through. I like to pull soft and gently. 7 pounds 4 ounces. Versus some folks who like to get it right here and yank it through. That gave 5 pounds 10 ounces. And of course it slid to the absolute bottom of the trigger. And try to do what I'm pulling through nice and quickly. 7 pounds 12 ounces. So if your shooter is one of those folks who likes to ride their finger up high and tight, the trigger's going to be a little heavier than if you like to keep it down here on the edge. Works with a nice fulcrum. So we have a few of these different places, averaging about 6 pounds or so. So you're looking at a 5.5 pound connector actually yielding a trigger pull of just a little over 6 pounds. Again, it's a well lubricated gun. It is new, it hasn't been worked on in any way, but it has been lubricated well. With any Glock, if you run them dry, it'll be a little heavier and a little grittier. And as it gets dirtier, it might get an ounce or two. But this won't be a difference you can tell. If you have any questions, please post them below. We're going to be doing a few things to this Glock here in the near future to give it a good carry weight of right at 4 pounds with a very crisp trigger. Well, as crisp as we can get. This is not going to include any real difficult modifications to the main parts of the guns. Mainly it will be done with springs and with a lighter connector with an over travel stop. If you have any questions, please post them below. Please subscribe to the channel to see more about Glocks and other guns in the future. And if you have any questions, feel free to... I said the same thing 3 times.